Um, Justin Alcade, the subject is the four pillar storyline forced? Hello, Joe Disco and Conan. Do you guys think that the four pillar storyline seems forced? As a fan watching it, looks like the only two individuals in that group that seem like stars are Darby and MJF. Do you think they should keep Jungle Boy and Sammy involved, even though it seems like they're just put in that spot? First of all, the story. If you want to do a good story, there is no storyline here. All these guys are doing, we know they're going to wrestle a four-way match with each other, and they're all just cutting promos on each other right now. There's not really any like I'm asking you what the storyline is. What is the storyline here?
Yeah, that they're the four pillars and they're going after his belt and he's a. But I
Right.
just think that um, uh, I'm not interested in the other two guys against MJF. I'm only interested in Darby. And I think that they shouldn't have been the four pillars. I think they should have been the four guys who were underneath the four pillars that were supposed to be the future of the business. And now they are, and let's see what's up. But I don't know why they're called the
Well,
four pillars because they're not.
well, and let me make this more interesting. They're completely ignoring a storyline thing here, where Sammy is married to Tay Conte. Okay, Jungle Boy is dating Anna Jay still. They're not doing any interaction with them. Like you could make those two, the Sammy and Jungle Boy element of the story, very interesting if you involve the girls. But they're just not. Like you said, it looks like the two stars are Darby and MJF in this, and the other two are kind of like afterthoughts. You
Yep.
know. So there is throw the girls in here and you have a storyline. It's like these girls are starting to stir with the pillars thing and stuff and all that, and just to throw them in there. That's your storyline. Because there is no storyline right now. Because everybody knows MJF's going to win the match too. Next is from Joseph Supermex Rodriguez. The subject is Tank Ryan. Hey guys, with Davis versus Garcia this weekend, I wonder if you've heard about the restrictions Davis out for the fight. It's a 136-pound catch weight and a next day rehydration limit for Ryan Garcia. Basically meaning he'll be weight drained on fight night. My question is, does that affect the credibility if David knocks him out to you, and does that make you lose interest? Conan, did you see they've also decided to both of them put their purse up against each other?
Wow.
Winner take all.
I heard them talking about it, but I didn't know it had been done.
Yeah, it's been done. What do you think about this, Conan, this fight?
No, they've generated a lot of interest with all the talking and they're both, I this is I don't know if I've been caught up in the hype.
Mm-hmm.
My brain tells me Davis should knock this guy out,
Mm-hmm.
but this guy reminds me a lot of Oscar De La Hoya in many ways.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see.
Next is from Gondo Chanko, and the subject is, did Cena really elevate Theory? Good day, K100 crew. You guys have said this a lot about AEW, that just because you put someone over, have a competitive match, it doesn't automatically elevate them. I think the same applies to Theory versus John Cena. It was a good match, but never left second or third gear, and even the build was lackluster. They had one promo and never did or said anything else until Mania. I don't see Theory any different now than I did before he beat Cena. Do you guys think beating Cena did anything to elevate Theory or make him look like a main eventer? It didn't hurt him, but it really didn't add much other than the fact that he can include John Cena when he starts, talking about names of people that he's beat, Seth Rollins, John Cena, Bobby Lash, so starts, it's just another name in the list, but, he's still on his way. We're still at the very young part of this guy's career. He's going to be a big main eventer one day, and he's taking the baby steps that you need to do that. There's nothing wrong with this. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. This is a building process, and obviously Cena wasn't going to make him in one day, and you didn't need a big build up. It's John Cena. You
And
don't
he's
need to.
24 years old, Theory.
So I just think that at the end of the day, like you said, he beat Lashley, beat this guy, beat that guy, and he'll probably beat another big name. And they're building him up slowly, which is a correct thing to do.
Yeah. Next is from Hornet Gallowagger. Subject is Mia Yim and Vince McMahon. On the Raw after WrestleMania, the dirt sheets are running crazy with the stories about how Vince was back running stuff, cutting segments, and how backstage Raw was at an all-time low. Clearly, this was all true because the dirt sheets said it, and they would never make stuff up, right, K100? That is until Mia Yim went on Twitter explaining that a bunch of wrestlers who were promised some vacation time in December were actually getting their time off now instead of back when originally planned. Right on cue, the IWC went after her with pretty harsh racist and sexist comments, and of course, calling her a lying shill to the point that she had to delete the tweet. My long-winded question is, what do you guys think about Mia Yim having to be the one to speak up? And why do you think that despite endless proof of how the dirt she sliders over and over again, Mark still believes every negative thing that's said about the WWE? I can't comment on Mia Yim because she still blocks me on Twitter.
All right. Let me see.
Yeah, the Marks is good. They said Vince was
Let me tell you this.
that the segments were being rewritten and he wasn't even at the show. You know?
Well, he could have been doing it over video conference or over the phone.
Oh.
But he definitely, I know for sure, hasn't been backstage at every show. But there have been some changes by him. I know that for a fact.
Right. Yeah. From Rich Wog, and the subject is the mailbag. Yo, F Wrestling. Disco, who was the hottest female you've ever seen in your club? Conan, who was the hottest chick you've ever had to work with in AAA? P.S. Disco, was Diamond Jackson ever in the club? She looks a lot like Cody's wife. Sent from my that's a cheap shot. Let's suspend this guy. That's a cheap shot. Diamond Jackson doesn't look anything like Cody's wife at all. So that's a very cheap shot. I don't know. We've had tons of hot girls in the club, like features and stuff. I can't even really tell you who was like number one. You know. So, what about you, Conan? Who's the hottest chick in AAA? Or was?
I think when Scarlett was there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how about because she did the most views, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next from Mark Warburton. Subject is booking TV. Hey guys, what do you guys think of this comment booking trope? I always find it goofy how often, especially in WWE, the GM or whatever character booking so many that shows matches during the course of the show itself. Once in a while I get it, but I always find myself thinking. So in storyline, what was the promotion's planned card for the fans' attendance if no one happened to beef with each other backstage at night? Do you think it's way too overused? I'd rather that they did that to set up the following week's matches each week rather than that show itself. It'd be more believable. It's like we're supposed to believe a combat promotion running a show with no matches scheduled including the main event. Well, Mark, the only problem with that is that if this was real combat, there's no way these guys would be fighting as often as they do with each other, for one thing, right? So you are taking wrestling on the surface for what it is. It's scripted entertainment. Bro, just as long as, you're right. Sometimes they don't announce the matches, but if they haven't announced the main event, it's like, okay, now I know they're going to do something on the show because we need a main event. And they write a story around it. Just sometimes those stories aren't very good, so. You got any comment on this, Conan?
No.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird question. Next one's from Jaisla Dadu.
Plus, I will add this. You got to remember, everything has their own universe. There's things that are believable in the Game of Thrones universe that wouldn't be believable in another universe. Right. There's things in the Marvel universe. There's things in the wrestling universe. It's just every universe has its own laws and idiosyncrasies and histories. And so, this is not, you can't compare it to a combat promotion because it isn't.
Yeah. And also, back perfect examples, the what's the question? Hang on a minute. You can edit this show. Mm-hmm. Also, like you said, Conan, about the universe. It's been done so many times that it's kind of like accepted in the universe that it's created that the GM can make up a matchup at any time. And sometimes if two wrestlers decide to fight, they can call for a referee and have a match right there. Because it's been done so many times, right? I mean, yeah. So if you want to nitpick that, it's like not everybody's nitpicking it like you are. They've kind of accepted that's the universe, right? The subject is Dustin is 7. Hey guys, I'm Josh from Pasadena and love the show. I grew up as fan during the Monday Night Wars. It was such a great time in wrestling, but also there was some bad stuff. What were the plans for Dustin Rhodes, formerly known as Goldust, as the new strange character 7? I crack up now watching the entrance, but wonder what was the planned shoot promo he cut, or was that legitimate? Bro, I don't remember the 7. I very vaguely remember the 7 character, and not enough to know. Honestly, just not enough about it to answer that question.
There's a short clip WWE put out that they condensed it. It's like a minute 45. You want to take a look at it?
No.
Okay.
Next one's from Jeff Adams. And the subject is K-Dog joins the NWO in July 97. Greetings, K100 crew, and to you, Conan, for absolutely crushing it at the 2023 WWE Hall of Fame induction of Rey Mysterio. My question today is for you, Conan. After joining the NWO back in July '97, you went directly into a feud with Rey Mysterio and Luchadors that ended with you and Rey squaring off in a Mexican death match at Road Wild that August. Would you consider this as your funniest storyline during your time in WCW? And what other storylines or matches with the Luchadors in WCW at that time were memorable? That's Jeff in Red Deer, Alberta, Canadian fella.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was my funnest storyline. And the other one that I liked about the Luchadors, because they really didn't do hardly any storylines with them, was when they did the LWO, especially when Eddie had to unmask them because somebody stole his wallet. I thought that was hilarious.
Right.